Hello everybody, Adam here, and before we get into today's episode, just a quick announcement. We are getting very close to the end of Season 7, and by extension the end of Shadows of the Jedi, our second full campaign. I know there's still plenty of episodes to come for you as listeners to listen to, but back here behind the scenes at FMHQ, we are getting very close to recording our table chat, which will probably be happening mid-September time. So if you have any questions you want us to answer in that table chat, please get them through to us as quickly as possible. And you can do that in a number of ways. You can email us at forcemajeurepod@gmail.com. You can mention it in the Discord, ideally in the Q&A channel. You can pop it on our Patreon if you're a patron. You can contact us via any of our various social medias. We are on Mastodon, we are on Twitter still for some reason, we are still on Facebook, and we are more commonly to be found on Bluesky, and links to all of those social media accounts are found in the show notes. So yeah, if there's anything you want us to talk about when we kind of do our wrap session, please drop us a line and let us know. And that is all I want to say about that. So, without any further ado, you know how it goes. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host. And today's episode will be brought to you after this question from our characters.
In the middle of us having crashed and now preparing to pepper these people running screaming towards us with ill intentions, Roy's very calmly fired these big booming shots into the crowd, and he can't help but he turns back to the inside of the ship to where Kay is, and there's almost a laugh as he says,
"Hey Kay, I bet you thought you were gonna get away from massacring people when you quit the Imperials. You're gonna get a chance to do it here too."
As the giant columns of dirt and almost indistinguishable, and that's the horrific thing, almost indistinguishable body parts land around. Roy can't smile, but you can imagine the kind of insane grin that would be turned on you at that moment, Kay, because his head doesn't have to turn like a human as well. It literally could just turn all the way around.
Kay replies to you, but he doesn't do it loudly, and in the commotion you might not even hear what he says, because he's concentrating on his belt, he's concentrating on getting himself ready to go and engage, and he just says, "This is different. It's all about intention. They are trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them. We don't kill innocents. We don't kill people who are running. We're not supposed to kill people who are running away. This is war. It's not a massacre. It's a fight." And he unbuckles his belt and steps up and starts walking out.
On that moment, we should introduce ourselves. Because of course we can, just to make it easier for the listeners. Hi, my name is Ed Fortune. I will be the Dungeon Master, Games Master. I prefer Were-Wizard of this session. Yeah.
So you turn into a wizard at the full moon?
Yes. Otherwise I'm just Were. So, I'm Ed Fortune, and I need my players to introduce themselves as well. They are lovely human beings, but just so you know what they sound like, can we start with Mim?
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Roy. Roy is a modified B1 battle droid. He has a career as a hired gun, specializations as a bodyguard and heavy, and an obligation of 40 to the Barr family.
Hello, I'm Adam. I play Tychus Barr, a Basilisk Guardian Armourer and War Leader. My emotional strength is my bravery, and my emotional weakness is murdering those guys in the back.
Well, they were definitely running away. But it does make it easier.
Mikey, would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't want to really associate myself with these people.
It's much easier. We should shoot people when they're running away much, much more often. It's so much easier.
It's a tactical withdrawal to warn somebody it's not a retreat.
Okay.
Save that for your morality chat. Sorry, Maggie.
Hi, I play Dalen Kyrane, a psychologically injured victim of war. He is a human starfighter racer terror striker. His emotional strength is his compassion, and his emotional weakness is his hatred, usually for people doing massacring. Hi, Tychus.
And finally, the character who's taken a Hippocratic oath, Ross.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Dr. Smets Karamdanelua. I play a Syrian consular healer whose emotional strength is his compassion for all the people who are here trying to protect my homeworld, and my obstinacy in that I'm reasonably okay with it, with preventing the the massacre of all the people on my homeworld if we have to eliminate a couple of Imperial people. I mean, that's not quite the Doctors Without Borders slogan, but
Hey, Tychus, are we shooting the wounded or are we letting them scream a bit longer?
are there any wounded left? And also, because it may or may not be raining, I'm the one who can detect whether it's raining sooner than anybody else because I'm taller.
Not anymore.
So, as we open into the scene, the left of the players in a clear as day where they're standing with a storm at the top of the hill, literally and figuratively, as Kay locks eyes with a villain who has ignited a lightsaber, seen what's going on, and done a cape swish. And it is Kay's turn to respond.
Okay, so away from the vehicle, how far away is he?
He is all the way up the hill. I would go past long range and into kind of extreme, if you see me.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need to spend a maneuver to remove myself from the vehicle, don't I?
Yes.
Right, okay, so I will spend a maneuver to remove myself from the vehicle. I will then spend another maneuver to start schlumping it up the hill as quick as I can. I'm then going to spend my action to force leap further up the hill.
Okay.
That is Kate Bush levels of running up that hill, mate.
Yeah.
I am sort of picturing the alternative where, given enough time to have started playfully tinkering with the grabnacks, there would have been an ejector seat you could have force leaped from the top of.
No,
Not from a mining vehicle, that ends badly.
We're not adding cracks into the mining vehicle. Thank you very much. I got 2 light side on that roll, so that's quite good. I am going to take my full action to go to enhance power check to go horizontally and vertically up the hill, because I have both of those powers to basically make my way up. And that's another making me into long range. I don't have anything to use this extra light side point for, unfortunately, on this. So that's me making my way to long range after getting out of the ship. How far away is he now?
So he's now in short range of where you are.
Cool.
It is about to be his turn. What you see...
Okay. And before he does that, I'm going to do a quick draw incidental, because I have the skill to get my lightsaber out. Ignite it.
As you land, you ignite your lightsaber, and we get a good, the bad, and the ugly style scene. Because he's already got his lightsaber out, and his back is to you, the cape billowing. And he turns, and we basically get a camera angle where you see your eyes meet as he turns to get your gaze in that kind of duelist sort of thing. Back to back, we get the camera front, his face first, then your face in that angle. And you see his face. They are blue-skinned being.
Yeah.
And they are horrifically scarred on one side in what you now recognise to be like that force-sensitive crystal that you've literally just come from the cave of.
Yes.
But these things are growing on his face. Part of his face has become craggy, and there's this purplish reddish energy, and you feel a familiar energy, very familiar. Whatever it is that makes Rare work, that is in him. And he looks, your eyes meet, and he dashes towards the beautiful landscape. We've described these hills before, but just to remind you, these are a beautiful natural formation of rocks that look vaguely like people's faces, but heads towards and is bounding and dashing, and his lightsaber, another end ignites, and he is also partially flying as he's jumping from rock to rock into the structure itself.
Yep.
And there is a beat as you realise there is someone else here. And there is a protocol droid with a black chrome look, which just looks surprised.
So when you say another end ignited, so this is like a double-ended lightsaber?
Double-ended lightsaber. He does the ridiculous helicopter effect, which I think is really cool, but also really silly.
Yeah.
As he moves away from you, away and up the hill.
All right. So is he moving quicker than I am? Is it a fool's errand to keep chasing him? I can see where he's going. Would it be better in my tactical view? Because Kay's, whilst he hasn't chased any with a lightsaber before, he has been a soldier.
He is above you.
Yeah.
He has the high ground. Mm-hmm. He is moving to high ground. He's not going to relinquish that. He's going to exhaust you. Like, without even making a warfare roll, it's going to... Like, his aim, if he's just fighting you, will be to use the terrain to make you tired.
Okay. Then, I mean, he wants to chase him down. He wants to... This is actually getting back at what he sees as the Empire is something that's really important for him and how he feels himself. But if he leaves everybody else, then they'll be hindered, he'll be hindered. It won't... There's a pull of his camaraderie to all his fellow players, essentially. And he stops just at the protocol droid. And assuming it's a non-com, I'm going to flick my lightsaber to its neck. But if it is actually an assassin droid in disguise, I'm not.
But sir, you're supposed to fall for the trap.
I know, I'm very inconvenient.
Oh dear.
Hands up. I mean, that's all that protocol droids can do.
It puts its hands up and goes, I'm very sorry, sir. I'm going to have to detonate now.
Fair enough. I say
10, 9.
Let me know when I get my next action.
None of us can reach it.
And back to top of hero initiative.
Tell you what, I'm going to let one of you guys go first.
No, Ross, you go before.
I'm happy to stay in initiative order. If you're happy to stay in initiative order, I'm fine with that.
Can I go before this droid destroys itself? Is that all right?
I'm happy to drop out a structured play. If the rest of the party are happy to drop out a structured play.
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to sunder the damn droid's head off with my lightsaber, because that might stop it counting. And because I'm not a technical person, I assume that's what stops the bomb.
Okay. Roll me your cutting off a defenseless droid's head.
3 successes, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
The triumph's going to be that actually works.
Yeah, exactly. So the 3 successes means I do it 9 damage. This is exactly what I needed as a roll. The 2 advantage means that I click in sunder, which damages the thing. Basically dropped it down to... And the triumph, yeah, its brain was controlling the bomb so it doesn't explode. If that's all right.
What I would like to picture as your triumph is, as you cut its head off, it goes, deactivating bomb. And the entire body slumps down. And the head is still talking and it goes, thank you.
It's all right. We'll take the bomb out and then talk to you.
I was rather attached to that body.
It's still there. I've got a friend. He can fix anything.
Do we want to go out of structured play? Or do you want to stay around?
I got the feeling there's no real point staying in rounds at this point, because the Inquisitors legged it well out of range, and we're all at the bottom of the hill, miles away from Kay. So I think that Tychus has certainly been chasing Kay up the hill, having satisfied himself that there's no more immediate threat. And along the way, will skid, and his lower right arm will grab the data slate off the minion who was holding it and bring it up without breaking stride as he's carrying on.
The minion who was wearing essentially a t-shirt saying, I have useful clue artifacts on me, please search my body.
It's the only one you can click on.
It's the only one you can click on.
All the bodies has now vanished, apart from that one.
You all reconvene at the foothills, essentially, of this beautiful park. The weather is going absolutely off the chain. It's calm where you are. Everywhere else, it's a storm.
Tychus does not find this at all disturbing, because this is Keener Bale weather.
Yeah.
So is this the reverse of the Truman Show moment where it's only raining on him? It's just only not raining on us?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
only not raining on yourselves.
We're in the eye of the storm almost. So. Kay has brought with him the protocol droid, which he drags up and then flumps on the floor in the middle of it.
What have you found, Kay? And where's that General Kenobi got to?
He had an extra bit to his lightsaber, like 2 lightsabers held together, and then he spun them and he took off and left. I'm not making it up.
How does that even work?
I've
It's
no
not like
idea.
they're not angled blades to catch the air. It's lit. Force woo, yet more
Yeah, it must
weird, wibbly magic.
I could have chased him down, but then I'd be tired and by myself, and, let's not split us. We seem to work together. This guy was about to explode. I'm sorry I damaged him.
What are you doing with this? It is essentially a protocol droid. Well, now that you look at it, it's got slightly more ornamentation on, the bit where the front of the head and the back of the head are connected together and there's a rim. It's got like slightly more kind of Metropolis style, not spiky bits, but nubs.
So, Tychus, he's got an explosive somewhere in him. He was counting down. He didn't want to die. So, unplug his explosive and maybe turn him back on.
Aye. Tychus swings Clementine onto the mag holster at the back of his armour, cracks all 4 sets of knuckles, opens a pouch on his armour and pulls out an array of peculiar tools, and begins to set to work. But before he does, there is a moment where he's clearly weighing something up. And then with a look of disgust at himself, he pulls a restraining bolt out of his pocket and attaches it to the body of the protocol droid.
Ooh, you've been a bad boy.
That's a beautiful narrative moment, that really is. Okay. Are you make a mechanics check to get the droid online?
To remove the bomb, first of all, before I try and repair it, I'm going to disable that explosive and ideally nick it.
Yeah, can we have that?
What's my difficulty on my mechanics test, please, Ed?
Difficulty 2 mechanics check. Yeah, they've not done anything. But there's 1 black.
Okay, I remove that for my skills. Cool.
The setback is that there's essentially bespoke tamper seals, which of course long ago you made ways to get past that.
Yeah, with all his really peculiar tools that don't look like they should work but somehow do for Tychus, it just turns out he happens to have the right item for it. That is 2 success, 2 threat, and a triumph.
I'm glad none of us thought, oh look, someone's defusing a bomb. Get to cover.
No, I'm staying there. I trust Tychus. I'm standing right next to him.
The threat is going to be presented in a choice. Hang on, you've got a triumph as well. So let me have a quick think. You realise that the only way to so there is a chain of tiny explosives, all of which are very, very powerful explosives. And clearly, what this is meant to be is you're meant to be able to take these out of this droid and use them for other things.
Yeah.
And they're like little. It's almost like Christmas lights, little orbs connected on a chain. The problem is that's going to be really difficult to pull out without it causing some sort of energy backlash. There's no way that you can keep it functional and ground it without access to a lab. So that's going to cause you a strain to take it out, but you are able to take out the explosives. If you leave the explosives in there, you don't take the strain.
I'll take the strain.
Okay. These are essentially small charges. If they all go off at once, this would have taken out a good chunk of the scenery and possibly even caused a landslide. Like, this is a big bomb.
I'm also assuming that the way you've described it is, although I've managed to get it out and reusable, that's the triumph. The other side of the thread is that I can't separate them down into lots of little munitions. It's one big bada boom or nothing.
Yeah, you can extend the wire.
Yeah.
And the wire goes for quite some length.
Or attach it to a comm or do something like that. But what I can't do is have a whole bag full of micro explosives. It's one, go large or go home.
Yeah, it's one unit. This is almost like it's been built there so someone can order it to start planting a series of explosives to take out a facility or something.
It's in a mine layer, but the mine layer is jammed.
Yes.
Okay, right. I've got some kind of good news and some bad news here.
Yeah.
He says, kind of all 4 arms deep in the chassis of this droid. I've managed to deactivate and remove, and he gingerly lifts it out and puts it to one side, what is a significant amount of chain explosives here. We're talking multiple thermal detonators linked. This thing is... If that was going to go on UK, there wouldn't be enough left of you to remember. That's how big this bomb is. Now, you can see here, and he's kind of pointing with his lower right hand at the various nodes. This should be lots of little micro explosives, detachable and that sort of stuff, but the way this has been wired into this droid, or something has happened, something shorted, I can't separate them. So we've either got one big boom to use at some point down the line or nothing. And if we use the big one, we need to be way out of the way. Now, I could spend a little bit more time trying to rig a remote detonator on it, but I think at the moment what we need to do is get this droid up and running.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, and he reaches into his pouch and hands you something with his upper left arm, Kay, I found this data slate on one of the ones that try to run away. It looks like a map or something. And he holds it out to you over his shoulder without really looking back.
Cool. Roy, can you plug into this?
Maybe.
She sort of bangs on the head.
Do you mind if I plug in?
Tychus?
Oh no, I'm talking to the droid.
Oh no, this data slate. Yeah, we're going to get him on his feet.
Oh, the data slate. Yeah, sure.
Tychus, these explosives, how triggery are they?
With my Triumph as part of that, Ed, could I say that they're fairly stable? They're not just going to explode if I...
They are. Even though it looks like the device from the Sean Connery movie The Rock.
That's what I was picturing! Actually, that's exactly what I was picturing.
They're not glass. They're this kind of eerie green metal. Essentially, they've riddled this machine's body, and Tychus has kind of turned it into a tube-like arrangement, which is its default. But you can pull one. As soon as you start pulling one, you have to kind of start. Put it this way, you can equip it, and if you roll a despair, they won't go off.
Okay. Well, shall I carry them for a bit, and we'll think what we're going to use with them?
He sounds like a plan.
I think I'm the most careful on my feet.
Yeah. While you and Roy are looking at a data slate, I'll see if I can wire this poor sat back together again.
Also on that Triumph, there was no expectation that this would be doable. Like, this shouldn't... Like, you realise that, like, what you've just done is ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't be able to do this on a rock side. You should need a proper lab.
Yeah, but Tychus is supremely confident in his skills.
And it's just lucky you had everything you needed in your pocket.
Yeah, how very convenient.
Can I have that mechanics check on putting the droid back together, please?
Yep, what's the difficulty on this one?
So, how bullish do you want to go?
Reconnect the head, turn it on, so it can work and move.
Okay.
I mean, it was a single blow, so there shouldn't be that much to... It's just a case of reconnecting stuff, I imagine.
If you're not doing anything else, just do.
No. I've got a restraining bolt on it for the moment, so a failure but to advantage. Okay, I have a suggestion for that, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
The suggestion is this. Although it's only one blow, it was one blow from Kay's lightsaber. And what it's severed is too severe for me to be able to reconnect the head to the body. But for those two advantage, what I can do is plug a battery onto its head and turn its head on, so we can carry its head around and talk to it, but it will be hanging off one of our belts.
100% what I was going to suggest. What you can do is the primary power source from the chest piece you can pull out. But the neck bolt things, it's got little deedly bobbers on them, and they've all been destroyed. And as you try and rethread them, you realise that by taking out the bombs, the thing that was connecting that all together, essentially, it's been melted, so you might be able to work past that, but the only wire that you have that fits, you're using for something else. So
the fact I've had to have its torso open and go rooting around inside and removing explosives, there's just enough. Okay, so our little friend here, and he says, removing the restraining bolt from the torso and plonking it on the head. I can't get his body back functioning at the moment, and to be honest, we're not going to be able to fly the Grebnaks out here. I think we're just going to have to accept that his body is lost to him for the moment, at least until we can rebuild him something down the line. But I suppose counterpoint is we're not walking around with an obviously Imperial droid behind us. I can turn his head on so we can have a wee chat with the fellow though. So if you give me a second, I'll just... And there we go.
where are my feet? Where are my hands?
They're over there.
Oh, I see what's happened. So the bomb didn't go off then?
Not yet.
No. And I'm really very sorry to say this, but we have got a restraining bolt on you at the moment until we can be satisfied that you're not going to give away our position or radio for backup to try and kill us or otherwise act against our interests at the moment. And I hope you can understand why I've done that. I normally wouldn't, but given the circumstance of our meeting, I can't assume friendly intentions.
You are at present a prisoner and you are being restrained because of it.
Aye.
It is your prerogative to assign anything that you need for me to be... One moment. I am still assigned to Argon 710 as his personal bat droid.
Argon Sebatem. Who are they?
Oh, high functionary of the Imperial Senate. Ambassador at large.
If that's who he is, who we think he is, he's certainly at large. Describe Argon Sebatem.
He is a free-roaming diplomatic envoy to the Empire.
Blue fella. Lightsaber.
Yes.
Okay, Kenobi.
Oh, we've got a name.
Yeah.
The doc's somewhere back near the Grebnax, just trying to monitor for on the communications channel, just waiting to see if he's getting any signals back from the transmission he sent earlier. So I'm
So you're just kind of keeping in via our comms.
partly because the bomb didn't go off, so I'm assuming that someone in the neighbourhood is going to go, why didn't that bomb go off? And how much did they underestimate our capability before they realised we can stop a bomb from going off?
So the dock is easily able to take a data slate from what's left of the Grebnax.
Okay.
The Grebnax, by the way, as you leave, does almost a clown car falling apart. As bits of it just fall off, and like literally as you take the data slate off, it's gone, and then like another bit falls off.
Low daring data slate, got you.
Yeah. I am here to assuage diplomatic communication between my master and his clients. Am I to understand that you are clients of Argon 710?
Yes.
Yes.
How may I help you? I was previously instructed to stay here and explode. Thank you for me not exploding.
Can you tell us where he is? We're late for an appointment with him.
I am unable to access the sensors that I would require to access his communications.
Point towards the body. Yeah, they're over there.
Well, upside is, that means he can't come out and let Kenobi know we're on our way.
How should I address you?
I'm Tychus.
Hello, Tychus.
I'll let the rest decide if they want to give you their real names.
My name is Dalen Kyrane.
I'm the doctor.
Hello, Dylan Kyrane. Hello, Doctor.
Right. So, you don't know where he is, but where was he before? Where have you camped? Where was the last point that you rested with him?
At this point, Roy, who's connecting to the data slate, you have a full map and communications map of what's been built into the mountain. You're fairly confident, essentially, someone has mapped out mostly where the toilets are, but someone has mapped out like the lair that has been built into this area, and you get the feeling as you go through this data slate that this is like someone's personal map, because it says things like delete this as soon as you can and commit to memory, do not store permanently. It's got lots of notes like that. It's also got notes as to where like the snacks are, where the lifts are, which lifts work, which of the consoles actually work rather than the ones that are covered. Like, it's someone who works here has made their own personal map of the area.
Has somebody who's holding their hand with just their pinky out at a weird angle gone, my underground lair, in the last couple of weeks of building?
It's got very strong underground lair vibes.
Not in my backyard.
Oh, well, we got the layout of the place.
Sorry, is there anything on there about recent orders or any named operations?
It is Operation Picnic and Operation Park, and it is about getting, as you look for it, essentially, this seems to be an arrangement for freelance operatives, and like you know enough, you're streetwise enough, you've lived on Keenabell long enough to realise that what this is an arrangement between two third parties to smuggle stuff onto this world. And there's like receipts and this sort of thing of, it's either an illegal operation or like it's all of it seems fairly deniable. You could be like, because it's all things like party supplies and drinks and trip to the park. It's all labelled as seemingly innocent things, but you add them all together and it's like, oh, this would be an operation to move equipment and survey communications into a public park, which restricts that sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a smuggler's code here. I don't know, Docs, maybe your wives could do something with it.
Yeah, deny planning permission, for one.
If you want to make a skullduggery check to find out more, you can. Difficulty would be 2.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Do you want to flip a light side point, man? We've got absolutely tons of them.
Yeah. I have got 1 success and one triumph. I've got my own triumph. I'm so proud.
We've all had triumphs.
Are you okay to spend that on the full? That's the full 410. I think the kids say in the 70s. The full information. Are you happy to spend the triumph on the whole enchilada?
Really happy to spend that triumph on almost a Matrix thing of realizing that they've covered their tracks, but I can see the data connecting everything. So if we do send this data, I can send it with the highlighted map that they could point at to, for example, suggest Imperial involvement at a higher level. I can't maybe point out what something is, but there's enough in there that I can see the pattern in a way I could convey it to a layman.
So in the strangest world of coincidences, because Star Wars is a galaxy wide, but it's also a very small place around the corner, this person has used code words that you're familiar with, because back on Kinabal, when you were making arrangements with the jukebox droid, it has a similar range of contacts and mutual friends. So you know all the code words, you know what they're referring to, and as soon as you draw that one connection, it all unlocks. So you're like, oh, that is for water supplies, that is for drinks. Oh, this has all come from Bracca, these are Bracca's men. This is an off-the-books arrangement between the Imperials and criminal syndicate to do stuff that they cannot be politically held accountable for, because the Empire will just say, oh no, that's criminals, we don't deal with the Outer Rim, that sort of thing. It's 100% off the books. But by knowing all of the stuff that you're not supposed to know, you blow the whole thing open.
Oh, thank us. We still got Bracker here. Bracker is this is his work.
This is enough to start a scandal in the Senate, essentially, because this is corruption of the highest order. This is money being passed to groups that have been sanctioned. There's money going to the Black Sun. There's money going to the Pike Syndicate. This one person has written this all down and kept a ledger in case they needed
Leverage.
Not only have they mapped out this base and the toilets, they've mapped out loads of other places. You look over the image files, and there's loads of these little kind of like secret bases.
Oh boy.
In all sorts of core worlds that are, bars. And again, it tells you where the toilets are and tells you where the boss is and which rooms not to go into.
This is too much data.
Just let me get this straight. So this guy could have been the finest rebel spy in existence, and Tyka shot him in the back.
Oh God, I love that.
You roll your chance cubes, you take your chances.
Poor radar.
I'm really sorry, but if you come at me with a weapon, I'm not going to ask your affiliation until after I've killed you.
Away from you with a weapon.
Eh, not originally.
That's not nice to do.
It assuages your guilt, not that Roy has any. This is a combination of blackmail and stupidity rather than spydom. This is someone not clearing their cookies and not deleting their files.
But we got it.
We have. I think, first of all, let's get a copy of that saved in your memory banks, because we want to have that. Doc, if you want to send this across to your wives along with the warning code. And then, sorry, what was your name? And Tychus taps the head gently on the forehead with one of his knuckles.
3G0.
Great. And 3G0, if you want to come with us, we're going to go and pay a bit of a visit to your boss. Tychus stands up, cracks his knuckles again, kind of rolls his shoulders back. Ugh. Oh, but before that, let's just quickly check your oil, Roy. And I'm going to quickly go and de-strain Roy.
It makes sense, because if it's a whole data slate, I'm not sure you can transfer a whole data slate's worth of information, which is why everything has to keep being passed around physically. But if you're downloading it into me, that's going to be a lot of stuff, so I'll need the time to sit, so you may as well sort my strain.
Well, that's 3 success and an advantage, so you get all your strain back. And I think for the advantage, by clearing out some of your strain, which is effective like some combat logs and some cached files, I clear your cookies, which then leaves you with enough storage space that this can just neatly be uploaded into I quickly defrag part of your memory banks.
You have forgotten how to say the word marmalade, but you're other than that, you're good.
My marmalade.
In that case, I've got a big question. There's a series of files waiting to be activated, which is... It. I kind of want to say it's called maturity, but it's called End of Childhood. But you can see in the folders that to do that, it clears up a lot more space on Roy, but it removes a lot of the child protocols. So that would be no more Froobs, no more rubber duckies, and you're not certain what other protocols it activates. You don't have to make a choice now, but you can see it there. There is a chance this could change things.
Yeah, he certainly isn't going to do it yet. Not here in the field in combat. And I think that he needs to really have a think about that before he does anything more. But there is definitely a pause as Tychus is clearing a bit of space when he sees these files. And then he kind of, like, in the way that Tychus just kind of shrugs, shakes his head, carries on. He'll worry about that later.
Dog, you get a reply on your datapad.
Okay.
It's forward. What did you do? ? Followed by, what the criff did you do? ? And then a series of news reports. They send you like footage of, right now there is a riot in the docks. Something has kicked off. There is suddenly a protest there's been a ongoing thing about the local weather control satellites and how they're now in the hands of Imperial administration. Massive kickoff, massive spontaneous protests. Everything is being slowed down. There is also huge weather issues planet-wide that's slowing down. It's being weirdly reported that essentially certain ships can't get through, but other ships are fine. And it's like really weird weather patterns. Also massive algal bloom growth in certain of the oceans. Like all of these things have kicked off in the last half an hour.
So when you say certain ships can get through, do you mean like certain like environmentally equipped craft, or do you mean like privileged lane for Imperial ships, that sort of thing?
Are they preventing any of the males from returning home?
Oh! So the weather is stopping certain ships from landing. And it seems to be, Syrian ships seem to be fine, but external ships seem to be having a problem.
Okay.
There's an Imperial response as well, which is not yet stopping men from landing, but that would be the nuclear option for the Empire.
I think we've managed to get the word out. The signal's out.
Now they're gonna need the data to back up their responses. We gotta get this to somewhere. Somewhere bigger than this, or me. Or get me somewhere. I'm bigger than this. Oh boy.
You get one more message, and it just says, the rebellion is on. And on that note,
We will see you next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.